Just always tired.
That's your superpower, or what?
That's my
That's
my
your secret.
It's my secret. Always tired.
You're the opposite of the Hulk. You're really
Yes.
tiny and sleepy. You're calm.
Calm, tiny, and tired. That's that's me.
My friend, just need to know our friendship won't end. My buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy.
Hello and welcome to Girls Who Came to Sugar Bakers, where nerds and platonic life partners Erin and Leslie watch episodes of Designing Women, then recap, review, and share other fun things related to the show. I'm Leslie.
And I'm Erin.
What's up?
Hey!
Hey.
Excited to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
I said I'm excited. Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You're sipping.
Took a sip of drink right as you
What?
said that. Same.
That was a me move to be like, oh, let me just go ahead. I'm just thirsty right this second. And I'm going to have this. And yeah. Because we haven't really even gotten a chance to talk to each other as much as
like
normal.
2 weeks. Yeah.
It's not good. We got to fix this, which we will be when
We're
going to
fix it soon. I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it September yet?
Is it?
Can it be September yet? I'm so tired.
Oh man! Wait, I know. Well, yeah, you were talking about winter break earlier today. What is
winter break? Is so far. Oh, because the kids moved back. And I went to the grocery store, and there's like they're everywhere, and I'm just like, and winter break is really the next time that they're not going to be here, and I'm just like, it's a long time until then.
I do remember when there would be lots of youths because they had just moved back, and that I really didn't. I always felt like I didn't appreciate the quiet summer until it was over. Until
they were back.
Like, oh man, here they are again.
My boss came in on Friday, into a little dark cave where we work, and he was like, "Okay, he's like, I need to retire now because they actually look 12."
Oh,
he's like, they're a full 18 years old and they look 12.
Whoa, dear. Yeah, that's well. I don't know. Maybe that'll make him stop giving them such responsibility they can't handle. That would be nice. He's like, oh wait, you're a baby. I can't ask you to do this thing. You're a child.
But yeah, they do. They look younger every year, and they do look.
How? No, they don't.
Year.
No, are you kidding me?
They do look especially young this year, but they're cute.
What?
Like they're so excited. They're excited to be there. It's cute.
Well, that's great. I'm happy for that then.
Yeah.
I'm just shocked that they look young. I'm like, really? Do they? I don't know.
The crop that I saw do, but they were doing like, the freshman orientation. So they're
that's cute. Well, some of them could be, like even like 17 years old.
Yeah.
They could be really young.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's something about where you are that they just like take over. I don't really quite see that as much in other places. I have lived other places where there are also
like
students.
Colleges.
Yeah, and it's not like the same as where you are, where it's like the whole.
That's it.
They're like 5 streets worth of area that completely changes because there are now these youths. They're just all over the place. Well. It's not winter yet. Also, because you want it to be less hot, I think.
I also would like it to be cold outside. I would not be upset if it were cold outside.
Yeah, it's been a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And really stormy for you guys. Yeah.
Lots of storms, lots of humidity. Just like, it's too much. I'm ready. I'm ready for it to be cold.
Ooh, hey. That's not a bad transition of
cold things.
So speaking of cold things,
go for it.
So ridiculous. Today I talked to Leslie and said, "Are we gonna not do the National Day Funny Days anymore because we are repeating some?" I was asking if she thinks we should. Not that I was like calling you out. Like we're not doing it. No.
Oh.
You know what I mean. But that. We had gotten in a rotation where we're repeating ones, and then they're kind of ridiculous and not like in like a funny way always. But then today is National Ice Cream Pie Day, and we have to, because listeners of the show will remember that they have ice cream everything. They'll have
There's so many.
Yeah, they'll be like Blue Foods ice cream day or something like that. It's just like, what? It's just like so specific, and every single type of ice cream, or like ice cream float, or like popsicle, or I don't know. It's just so many things. So this
all the ice cream.
I didn't even realize that ice cream pies exist, but now that they talk about it, I mean, I've had ice cream cake.
Yeah.
And I've had like cream pie type things. So National Ice Cream Pie Day. I was intrigued. You're intrigued. We went into it. I'm gonna read it because it's a bit cheesy, so I like it. First came putting ice cream on pies. The natural next step would be making ice cream into pies, would it? I don't know if that's automatically
Is that the next step?
I don't think that's how things work, but that's okay. It's like peeing. Like it's like. I'm sorry. That's a little bit the same as saying you used to put ketchup on your fries. Well, the next step is just to eat a big bowl of ketchup, right? Like that's what I'm like. It's not really.
That's definitely where my brain goes next.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. It's not exactly how we think. The natural next step. With all the flavors available, our options are unlimited. Yes, y'all.
All your options.
There you go.
There's still options.
Plus, when we figure in types of crust to make with ice cream pie, the concept is beyond delightful. Combined graham cracker crust and maple pecan ice cream for a fall treat, or vanilla wafer crust with peanut butter ice cream topped with bananas. Yum! You're only limited by your imagination. So it's literally pies made of ice cream. And on the website, I'm looking at National Day calendar, they do have a lemonade ice cream pie that I was intrigued by. Their recipes, sorry, I didn't say what they are. Recipes, they have chocolate crunch ice cream pie, peanut butter ice cream pie, banana split ice cream pie, and lemonade ice cream
I would eat all those.
Whoa, the lemonade ice cream pie, you could use it with Oreo crust. That's kind of interesting. So then it's going to be like chocolatey. But, ooh, that looks good because all it is crust. They say either to do Oreo or graham cracker. And then you have softened French vanilla ice cream, a can of thawed frozen lemonade concentrate, and then whipped cream topping.
That sounds really good.
It says a tub of frozen, so they're talking about Cool Whip. And yeah, right?
Cool
and it's
Whip.
just like Cool Whip. Yeah. So that's actually sounds pretty nice. Very, very sweet though. Probably.
Yeah, you couldn't eat much of it, I'm sure.
Feels like a lot.
Or I couldn't eat much of it, I'm sure.
No, my teeth wouldn't want me to. So that's fun. I don't know. Have you guys, does any of our listeners, have you eaten ice cream pies? Because yeah,
Please
I haven't
tell
really.
us.
Yeah, please do. Please
share
your recipes and tell us about your ice cream pies because this is new to me. I do love an ice cream
something
cake
I want.
though. Like I was sad that ice cream cake, like that it's only like your birthday or something stupid. I'm like, come on, we need a little bit more.
Treat yourself whenever you want.
Yeah. So it's National Ice Cream Pie Day.
Happy National Ice Cream Pie Day.
Yeah, I have some ice cream. I could eat it.
Don't.
You don't have any ice cream?
No.
Oh my.
I've been having a lot of sensitivity issues lately, so I haven't really.
Oh no! Oh, you said that. Oh yeah. Well, you probably have the 5 jaw clench TMJ going on, like I did.
Oh yeah. My jaw fully hurts. Like feels like a pulled muscle today.
Oh no! Well, you can just. Sorry, this is becoming just us talking, but you can get just a mouth guard like at the grocery store.
I ordered one and it got lost in the mail, so now I have to order another one.
Yeah, so you can do that just at least to like sleep with, so it'll help it. Yeah, I didn't realize I wasn't opening my jaw all the way, even to like brush my teeth.
Oh yeah, don't either.
Until I finally could. I was like, oh, okay. But apparently that's how you get sensitivity sometimes because your jaw just is making it so your teeth hit wrong. Yeah. And over time, you're like, I'm pissed off.
Dentist told me. Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, because you just went, duh.
I did.
Hello, I forgot.
But no cavities. Hey.
Well, that's amazing. That's good. I'm excited about that.
Me too.
I don't have a transition into...
That's okay. Can you just tell us about your sugar baker moment?
Oh.
That's the transition.
I was going to ask you first, so I'll go ahead. That I finished my last on call on Friday nights. Well, as of Saturday morning, I guess it is. And it was a hell of a one. It was so bad.
Out bang.
It was bad that I had. There were 4 total deaths, two that I directly was working with, and there was another like hysterical woman who like maybe wanted to talk to me when she came into the hospital, and I was like, oh shit, okay, because she had called and she was like, make sure there's like a priest available, and I was like, there's not going to be, there's going to be a me. Nope, and that's what I told them, and they said, okay, well, I said, just let her know it's just me, there's not a priest.
Make sure she knows that.
And that I think that that's why they didn't call when she came in, or maybe she didn't come in or something, but it was weird because I had to wait for like a while. It was intensivo, but the 2 families that I worked with were some of the absolute sweetest people, and they said beautiful things to me that were like, we're just so, it's really, actually to me, now that I take it out of context, I'm like, whoa, people say things to me that are just deep, that they both had said sentiments that were just like, we're so glad that we met you, but not under these circumstances or something. It was really strange that they were very, very grateful that I was there for them. And I think I don't take it in because I'm so used to people saying such beautiful things when I'm working. And then now that I'm taking it in, I'm like, whoa, people say really wonderful things to me. That's nice. So that was great, but I am exhausted. And yesterday, because I slept like an hour and was paged, and then 3 hours and then was paid, like all like I was off. It was pretty tough. But I did get to talk to my friend Jennifer on the app Marco Polo like most of the night. It was really fun. We were going back and forth a lot, so that helped. And then that was my sugar baker moment. And then I have a shout out for the Upright Citizens Brigade. Let's try that again, huh? Upright Citizens Brigade Theater that started in New York. There are 2, I think, still locations in New York. There are 2 kind of newer locations, I believe, in Los Angeles. So I know Franklin's not that new, but I know the Sunset one is, I think, just a few years old. Like maybe just soon before I moved here. I can't remember how soon. I started going there for improv. Again, listeners to the show will remember that I really love my improv troupe Songbuster in Toronto. And it's sad because actually a lot of the people that I first knew from that group aren't really doing it as much anymore, but that happens, with groups and stuff. I think that like about half of them have left. So that's fun. But I went because I saw that some of the actors that I like are in troops. And I was like, oh, all right, well, let's go. And so I went to their, the first one I went to was, I really didn't talk about this on the show.
I don't.
Where I went to go see Soundtrack.
So
I guess not.
I can't remember.
Geez, sorry if I already did, guys. Okay, so Soundtrack is one where they use people's music and as like as cues for what happens, or like either they'll use it to build a scene around, or it'll be like a cue. Like for one of the songs, it was the cue to like wipe off the bar. So like they could be doing a completely different scene, and then if that song came on, then suddenly they're cleaning the bar and they're there again, That one was fun. And then I went to the Facebook show where they take 2 people's Facebooks and they build scenes around it. But they also actually, because what they do is here's the thing. In the beginning, I felt bad because people weren't really offering up fun facts about themselves. And I like to go along with things and help people out and stuff, so I would have liked to share fun facts and offer up my Facebook, except I don't know my password. And that was the big thing, is they say at the beginning that they're like, you have to know, first you have to have a Facebook, second you have to know your password, because they did have people that gave up fun facts about themselves, and then one of them didn't know their password and one of them didn't have a Facebook, and they're like, well, okay, we can't use that. So I'm gonna go again to that show, and I will change my password so that I know it right away, and have the fun facts in case they need, because that was a little like difficult that people weren't really offering up my Facebook. I don't use anymore. I haven't for the past like 2 years, definitely. So it's not as active, but there are some funny, weird things on there. Like this show is on there, that I work with tigers is on there, that I, have traveled all around. Like there's some things that they could probably, gonna make things out of. My fun facts are gonna be that my father is a professional Santa, and I know he's listening. Hey, Dad. And that I'm a hospital chaplain, because those are interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to that. But if you're in LA or New York, even for visiting for, like holiday or something, check it out, because they have free and cheap shows. And
we
look
like
and
free
see,
and
like,
cheap.
I mean, they'll have like just straight up free. The shows are like $5 to like $15. And it's not a hassle. All you have to do is be there to line up like 15 minutes before the show starts. And for LA, that ain't bad. It's not like my dear Largo, where you have to go like 2 hours beforehand to like get a ticket and then come back. Like, it's not easy. But yeah. And so there are a lot of people. The people that I recognized from the troops, I think Jason Mantzoukas was the only one from Soundtrack that I knew. I'm now trying to think about it, that was there that night. But other people are in that troupe that I know. And because it was only 4 people each night. And then in the second, the Facebook night, Rob Hubel was there, and I adore him so much. And Owen Burke, who I recognized the face because he is in everything, particularly Drunk History is what I remembered. And he was so, so delightful. So those are people that you would see. I know that like Colton Dunn was talking about that he was doing a group that I would have gone to last week if I had time and money and energy to go to it. And like just all kinds of people. Like Jack McBrayer sometimes shows up at the Facebook ones when he's in town, like stuff like that. So a lot of people that's how they all know each other, was coming up through the improv scene in New York. And I'm just shocked that it's like decades later and people will still do it, and still do it on like a weekly basis. Like they'll have people they'll have at least a few shows. They have a show every night of the week, but they'll have usually a few shows every, like I think Friday night when I went to see Soundtrack, it was the 9:30 show, but there was like a 7 o'clock show. There was like an 11 o'clock show. There were like multiple shows that night, and that they were like, oh, you can just stay for the next show if you like, and get a discount ticket. So that's a little shout out of a fun way to see cheap theater. Of course, I was laughing so hard I cried. They did use my music. I think I told you this. They used my music for Soundtrack, and it was La Mama Morta by Maria Callas, which is opera, which is hilarious.
Yep.
And that there ended up the scene was Jason like opening windows to like look out, and then he's like, I guess he's not coming, and then the other person decided the person that's not coming was Santa, so that killed me. I was like, that's like my dad. How did they know?
How did they know?
Sorry, I'm way too high energy for how stupid this episode is. Before we get into it, what would you like to share? I know you said you don't have a Sugar Baker moment, but you often have shout outs or these type of things. So if you wanted to.
I don't have any shout outs this week. I didn't really do anything this week. I do have a Silver Linings moment. Silver Linings playbook. But he doesn't listen, so it's not spoiling his surprise. But I made my dad a laptop sleeve for his birthday.
Yes! Oh my god, it looks so good.
And it came out really well. It's a little floppy, but it came out really well, like as a first-time experiment. I'm overall very happy with the way it came out. And it's like, I'll put a picture of it in the show notes. It's the fabric is like planets and stars and constellations and stuff. And then the button, because it closes, I made it close with a hair tie and a button that I sewed into the lining. Is a clock, and so his laptop case is time and space together.
That's fantastic.
Because he's a sci-fi nerd too. So
that's so good. I love that.
Thanks.
That's a shout out to Book Biffle for, because I mean, like they can't buy this particular one, but that because of bookmaking your sleeves is why you can. Do this. And and also I'm going to shout out that you made a whole set of Harry Potter sleeve and scrunchie matching sets.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
They're not listed yet, but they are available.
Oh,
I've sold 2 of them so far.
Are you going to make more?
Yes, I found some more. So the thing is that those come from fat quarters that I'm only able to find. I've only been able to find 4 so far. So I'm going to make 3 more sets. But then after that, I don't know if I'll be able to find that fabric anymore.
Right. Well, but the fact that you're making like sets of things, you know, like things that all go together, or that you have. I want some scrunchies because my hair is all falling out. I'm gonna have scrunchies.
So many. There's so many fabric scraps.
Oh my god! But this is what there are many things I love about you, but I really enjoy this that you're like trying to. I know you can't sneak it in there. It's my turn. That what an ass. That you are thrifty as hell. Okay, yes, but. I take it as you're just trying to make sure you're using up everything. So you're like, I'm going to make headbands. I'm going to make smaller book sleeves for like ebooks. I'm going to make scrunchies. I'm going to, whatever else. What is the repertoire that you're making right now of things?
So right now I can make the sleeve, scrunchies, a headband, a bookmark, like a fabric bookmark. Bookmarks. I've been looking at patterns for like crossbody bags.
Yes,
because it's basically the same thing. You just add like a strap. And I have ordered a walking foot for like apparel fabric, so I can start making scarves. Because I want to do that soon. Because I mean, in theory, one day it'll be fall, and it might be not 95 degrees outside.
Yeah, you only really get fall there anymore. You don't get.
Yeah, there's no real winter, so maybe by like January.
Yeah.
I can wear a scarf.
Yeah. Oh, me. Yeah. So, last night when I was actually out at an evening, I was wearing like a flannel shirt.
Nice.
And I was thinking, and I got home at like 10 and walked my dog, and I was thinking, yeah, I'm going to miss this California weather where you're not only not sweating at 10 o'clock at night in August, but you are wearing like a flannel shirt and jeans and you're perfectly comfortable.
I've been like longingly staring at my flannel in the closet where it will stay for another 3 to 4 months.
Oh no, that's true. Me. God, do you want to get into this episode? I guess
let's do it. Everyone, buckle your safety belts, please. It's gonna be.
I feel so bad because I know you're going. You've been like putting when we start discussing the episode, and I feel.
Oh yeah, I meant to do that. I haven't been doing it. But I'm glad you said I'm going to start doing it.
Oops. Sorry. I guess that works.
Nope. I forgot.
But my point being that I feel like the first half of this episode is going to be much more pleasant than the actual discussion. But I bet the people that we have who listen to our show and are wonderful and send us a lot of tweets. A lot of Twitter is the thing that talks the most. But also they're going to have stuff to say about it, I think. And that's great. Talk about it. Have a discussion. That's what we need to do. So Leslie, would you like for me to read the spoilers from TV Guide?
From TV Guide. Spoil it, TV Guide. Let's do it.
Okay, it's not that bad actually.
Okay.
So we watched season 6, episode 8, Strange Case of Clarence and Anita. First aired November 4th, 1991. And Spoiler Central TV Guide reads, everyone gathers for Allison's birthday slumber party, but nobody is speaking to one another after a heated debate sparked by the Clarence Thomas Anita Hill hearings. I don't feel that second sentence is accurate at all. The no one's talking to each other? That's not true.
That's not true. There's a lot of yelling.
Yeah, there's a lot of yelling, but
there's so much yelling.
Still fine.
Also, to be a spoiler zone, TV Guide left out the best part about this episode.
Wait, what's the best part?
The best part is that Julia and Mary Jo are an adaptation of whatever happened to Baby Jane, and it's the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I thought you meant like that part where Mary Jo's going off is really great, but I thought you meant like something. Yeah, exactly. They just leave out that they are in this makeup for about like 5/8 of the episode. You know?
Yeah,
like it's so
and
crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah. That's another one that I hope some of our listeners know is whatever happened to Baby Jane. And if you please do.
Y'all, there are like over a page worth of links to GIFs and screenshots, and half of them, at
just
least
from them
half
in
of
their
them,
costumes?
are just the two of them. as Bette Davis and Joan Crawford.
Oh my goodness.
So y'all can see all those, or not, but they're there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so should we get into it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Here we go. We started Sugar Bakers as per usual. And as I have just spoiled for you, apparently there's a play going on because they're discussing it. It's like community theater, and they're talking about the choices. And Julia said that she wanted to do Toys in the Attic, but Mary Jo was adamant that they do Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, which is hilarious to me because, like, I don't just like Jane is the perfect part for Mary Jo, who just likes to. I mean, it'd be good for Julia too because she's the Terminator, but like. You know Julia's going to fly off the handle. You don't always know when Mary Jo's going to do it, and when she does, it's just epic.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they're talking about it, and like I automatically assume that Julia is going to be Blanche, and that is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Anthony says that he can totally see Julia in the part of Joan Crawford, but he can't quite imagine Mary Jo in the Bette Davis role.
Well, buckle up, buddy.
But yeah, get ready. And Julia reassures him that when Mary Jo gets that wig on and starts swinging that cigarette around, it's pretty scary. Carlene comes in and asks if Allison is back yet, and they tell her no. And she and Bernice have been out buying party favors for the big birthday bash that they are throwing Allison, which will also be a sleepover because we'll learn in a little bit Allison's never been to a sleepover. Carlene just wants to make sure that Julie and Mary Jo are coming, and or Julie and Anthony are coming, and then also Mary Jo, but Mary Jo's not there. And Julia says that she and Mary Jo are going to be late because they have a dress rehearsal at 5, but they'll be there after. And she's like, Anthony? And he says, I live there, so yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be there. No choice.
No choice. And Carlene's super excited. This means so much to Allison. And she says, can you imagine never in your whole life having had a birthday party or a slumber party? It's like being raised by wolves.
That's a little dramatic.
It's a little much. And she says, thank goodness I took her under my wing. I mean, that girl didn't know anything about freezing people's underwear.
That's hilarious.
And that is funny. And Julia says, I hate to say it, but Aunt Trudy and Uncle Frank, who are Allison's parents, are pretty are cold people. They went off traveling around the world and just left Allison with servants, and they didn't pay much attention to her. And that would explain the weird bond that's happening between her and Bernice. And Mary Jo comes rushing in.
Wait, is that what Julia says, or is that what you say?
That's what Julia said.
I
didn't understand it.
I didn't understand that. Okay, and I may, in fact, missed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Mary Jo comes rushing in, and she's like, are y'all watching? They're just about to vote. And she's referring to the Clarence Thomas confirmation hearings that are happening during this episode and is the A plot of this episode. She turns the TV on, and she's like, this thing is making me nuts. And she takes her coat off, and she has a shirt on that says, he did it.
Yeah.
And Julia reminds Mary Jo they have a dress rehearsal tonight, and if they stay mad about Clarence Thomas and Anita Hill, they'll never remember their lines.
Well,
yeah, and
you can use it.
Mary,
use your anger.
Like, look at her like in her shirt, and she's like, "What? They were selling them at the mall." She's like, "I'm so mad about this. I've never been so mad about anything in my whole life." And then she starts reading out of the paper, like quoting some of the journalists who are not at all taking this seriously. All men. And they refer to it as quote unquote this sexual harassment crap. That's actually from a U.S. senator and not a journalist. That is a quote from one of the U.S. senators.
Oh man.
Anthony's like, well, it's not over yet. Let's see how it turns out. And then Carlene, there's so many. It's very interesting because as we will get into, but there's like so many different like opinions from different people on this, and like. I like how, for the most part, Anthony, like he said, he has his one say or whatever, but he lets everybody just like have their own opinion because like they're women and they should weigh in on this like more than he should.
Well, the fact is that women aren't being listened to.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
this, that's part of it. Is that so he's letting he's stepping back to not be a part of perpetrating that.
Exactly. And Carlene, talking about multiple opinions, she's like, I just think that, like, she had a little crush on him.
Oh, my gosh.
And Julia's like, that's what they want you to think. First, she's a woman scorned. Then, after she passes the lie detector test, she must be a nutcase. And then Mary Jo says that some other psychologist or psychiatrist came forth and said that women accuse men of these kinds of things are just delusional.
Yeah.
And Mary Jo says, I'm going to call a senator and tell him that maybe some white male aging senators are delusional to think that the American women are going to continue to elect them when they get on the TV and say stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, and then, unfortunately, we will.
Yeah. Unfortunately, as we have seen
still
recently.
A thing. Yeah.
And she picks up the phone and she's like, it's busy. You know, that's all you ever get when you call the Senate. And they say women talk on the phone.
Oh, my.
And then Carlene says, I hate to make you madder, but they say the majority, just like you just said, they just said that the majority of the American women believe Clarence Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And then my side note here is, and the majority of American white women also voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Mary Jo says the polls say, too, that most women aren't feminists, but if you ask most women about individual feminist issues, they are for them. They just don't want to call themselves feminist.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said, because George Bush wants to make people believe that feminists are all these big mouth, bleeding heart, man-hating women who don't shave their legs.
Well, I mean... no, just kidding. I was gonna say, I fit some of that. But same. No, yeah.
And then Allison and Bernice come in, and Mary Jo, they have no context for her previous thing, but she just continues right along.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, well, I shave my legs, and I'm a single parent. I'm a working mother, and I believe in equal pay, and mandated child care makes me a feminist, and I am proud to be one.
I really wish people understood that feminist means that you are allowed to be a woman in the way you want to, and you are equal to men. That's all it means. Because there was a nurse on, there was a nurse on Friday who's like, I mean, I shave my armpits, but I'm a feminist. And I was like, but that's exactly the point. Is that feminism means you can do what you want with your body and your life.
Yeah.
Just the same way that a man can. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm. She shouldn't have used the qualifier but. She should have said and.
And, yeah.
And.
Yeah.
Allison takes off her coat and she has on a shirt that says she lied, because of course she does.
Can we talk about just for a second these shirts?
Yeah.
That like clearly they were made by the costume department.
Yeah.
Like
they look like there's this place in Danville that like prints all the like little league shirts. It's like a sports, you know, you buy sports equipment there or whatever, and they have like a machine that puts letters on shirts, and like that's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like. Yes, exactly. It cracks me up that they try to act like, yeah, that came from the mom. Like, it did not. If it did, it's just a little machine that prints things on shirts and she put it there.
Y'all got iron-on letters.
Yeah. And
then you bought a like $5, what was it? Like Toltecs, that used to be a brand, t-shirts. Just slapped them on there.
Yep.
And then she starts going on, you and Julie are the worst losers I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
Now, don't anybody look in these bags. The birthday party favors are for tonight. We're going to leave toilet paper rolls all over town, and apparently we're going to shave something. What? Nope. Carlene's like, nope. We're going to throw toilet paper over trees and use a shaving cream to squirt people.
Yeah.
And Carlene says that Allison reminds her of this foreign exchange student she went to high school with. Her name was Martita, and she was so sad. She used to wear those old lady half hose with hot pants.
Oh, my gosh. That's a look, though. Go for it.
That is a look. And then Julia asks Allison where she gets off calling them losers, like they haven't voted yet. And Allison says, it's over. Face it. Clarence Thomas is going to get confirmed. And then, like, of course, that's drawing parallels into today. Like, this right here is, like, the light version of Brett Kavanaugh all over again. Like, Brett Kavanaugh was this all over again. Only, like, there was, like, more actual assault, more so than, like, harassment. But it was the same thing.
Yeah.
And let's see. I wrote a rant. I'm not going to say it because y'all know it. Carlene says she called, Toby Myers from Channel 9. Oh, he called because they want Allison to talk about this for some reason.
Well, I know. Where did that come from?
I don't understand. Yeah. Like, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
His sister was her roommate in college. And I guess he was just trying to find, like, a dissenting opinion or, like, an unpopular lady opinion or whatever. But she has talked to him, but they want to, like, get quotes from a bunch of professional women in reaction to all of this. And she's like, sorry, girls. Guess they already picked the losers to speak for your side.
Wow.
And Bernice, she doesn't know why they're so worried about Clarence Thomas.
She is misquoting everything.
Yes.
It is epic.
She says the person who needs our help is Jimmy Swagger. Apparently, he can't even get to work without ending up on Prostitutes Row. It must be hell ending up in his carpool.
Oh my God. What?
And Anthony's like facial expressions and reactions to
He's great.
Pretty much everything in this episode is
Yeah.
priceless, because I would always pause it to take a note, and somehow I was always pausing it on his face. So there were a lot of screenshots of his face and his reactions.
Yeah.
And then they show a clip of the testimony, and Clarence Thomas is speaking, and Carlene thinks he's incredibly articulate. Well, yeah, I mean, you don't get almost confirmed to the Supreme Court without being articulate. Doesn't mean that he's innocent.
Yeah.
He denies the allegations, and Julia says he doesn't belong on the Supreme Court. He belongs in the National Repertoire Theater for his acting.
For his acting, yeah. Yeah.
And Bernice says, even if this did happen, I've eaten at Long John Silver's so many times, and I've never found a hair in my Coke. Why did she
wait. No, but you know what that's a reference to, right?
I don't.
Okay. All right. So, one thing that I do want to shout out is if people are like watching this episode and are perhaps like us, where you're younger when the actual scandal was going on or something like that, where you just kind of really don't quite get the gist of what was, what are the references and stuff. Okay, so Long Dong Silver was something that is from and that what did he tell her that like that's what his name is or something like that?
I don't remember. But that was supposed to be like a porn, right? Or something.
Right. Oh, he wanted to watch it with her or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
I can't remember. Yeah, so Long Dong Silver was something that he harassed her with. That
makes sense now. They even talk about that later in the episode, and I just didn't.
Yes.
Because Bernice is
yeah,
wrong and clever all at the same time.
Actually, what Bernice has done is brilliant, because the Long Dong Silver is something that Anita says he harassed her with, and that he did bring her a can of Coke once, and that there was a pubic hair on it.
Yeah.
So that's part of what she says happens. So that is one thing that, like, those are the things that were kind of going on around in the media, and so Bernice has taken this and confused it in her brain, but that they have presented it in a very great way. So that's what that's about. But there's
very clever.
Sorry, I got distracted. There is a 2013 documentary called Anita Speaking Truth to Power, and that is one that presents kind of I don't remember. It's not very highly rated on IMDb, but that's just how like I think this whole story like is. It is like just so contentious that people are not able to say. I don't know. I don't know if that necessarily means it's a bad documentary, but I do remember that it helped me understand more. Anita is like in it and more understand how the misrepresentation that was happening in the media, how they were trying to the defamation of character of her, rather than that was really the emphasis of what happened, rather than trying to find out if it was true or not.
Right.
Really.
They just tore her down. And so that's what the documentary tries to look at. So if that's one thing I would recommend for people to check out if they're wondering like about some of these references and what it was really like to be involved in these like heated debates and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, continue. So she says she's eaten there many times, never found a hair in her Coke, and if I had, I wouldn't hesitate to send it back, and it wouldn't be 10 years later either.
Jeez, yeah.
And that's another point, like, she's making a joke, but, like, they bring it up again, that, like, why she waited so long, and I've heard that again with Brett Kavanaugh, like, from people that I know and people that I love and people that I trust, and they're like, well, I don't understand, why would she just come forward, but all the people who told me that were men.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, because you're not afraid. You're not afraid 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in your life. That's why you don't get it.
Yeah.
Anyway. And Mary Jo says, thank you, Bernice. And Bernice says, and I'll tell you another thing. Mm-hmm. This is where she gets more things. Mm-hmm. Like funnily confused. She says that Anita Bryant has caused trouble before.
Oh my God.
Yes, Anita Bryant caused a lot of trouble. And she said when she went out against the homosexuals, and here she is again trying to ruin this man.
I actually don't really know much about Anita Bryant, if I'm honest.
She's just a raging homophobe who had a platform.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
And Anthony's like, Bernice, that was Anita Bryant. This is Anita Hill. And Bernice says, oh, well, I thought Anita Bryant was white, but they both have the same hairdo.
Oh, my gosh.
Bernice, what are you doing?
What are you talking about?
And then here, Anthony gives us his point of view, which is cool also because black man,
He's
and
black
Anthony's
man.
a law student.
Yeah. Wait. Were you just kind of singing the song that Bernice says to him? Oh.
No.
Because she does at one point, she goes, black
she
man,
she
man,
does.
or something. Stupid song. I'm like, what? What? Which I thought it had to be. No, honestly, though, I thought that song was connected to the Lead Belly song. Where he says, black girl, don't lie to me. Where'd you sleep last night? I thought it was connected to that, but the rhythm isn't exactly the same. Okay, sorry. That was a tangent.
You're good.
Continue.
And Anthony says, you know what bothers me about this whole thing is that everyone has gotten off of the issue. And that's the whole point, right? Is that you're getting off the issue. You're distracting from it by like putting all of the pressure on her and distracting from the whole issue that is Clarence Thomas qualified to be a Supreme Court justice?
Yeah, exactly.
And the answer is no. And that is why this is happening. Because Anthony says, all I know is that the American Bar Association voted him barely qualified. And for the first time in history, 2 committee members voted him not qualified. He says, now, I'm a black law student, and I don't need 14 white men to tell me how remarkable it is for this man to pull himself up from his roots. But that does not a Supreme Court justice make.
I really liked this speech. I'm glad they included it.
Yeah, me too. And he says, and what amazes me is how they let him make that speech about how all these liberal groups are persecuting him because he's black, when it's painfully obvious that that is the only thing they like about him.
Yeah.
Because then they can be like, oh, no, we're not racist.
Look what we did. We're not racist. We
put this man on the Supreme Court.
Oh, my God. No.
Garbage. And Allison says, well, I think you all are incredibly naive. You don't think that the ACLU or the National Organization for Women are behind this. They've been digging into this for weeks. They're the ones who talked Anita Hill into doing this in the first place.
Oh, my gosh. But that was an argument that people were saying, so I really enjoy what Mary Jo does with it.
Yeah, and Mary Jo's like, yeah, I bet you're right. And wouldn't I love to have been a fly on the wall? Miss Hill, we know you're a conservative law professor in a little town in Oklahoma. And the thing is, we're trying to get rid of a Supreme Court nominee. If you could just come to Washington, bring your mom and dad. If you could just say a couple of things on national TV, nothing much. Just if you could just, give us a little description of a little porno film called Long John Silver, and then you could graphically describe Judge Thomas's private parts and kind of just top it off with a little story about a pubic hair on a Coke can. And Miss Hill, you do realize that the penalty for perjury is 20 years. What do you say to that? How about it?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then
people people think that people will do anything for attention and media and stuff, but it's like, to an extent, it'll eventually stop. And also what they put her through on the stand, I don't think anyone would go through that just for some media attention.
Yeah. No. And then Carlene says, well, how about Ted Kennedy? After all of his shenanigans, how does he come off in judgment of Clarence Thomas?
Because he was there. He was on the screen. I was like, oh my goodness.
Like, oh, there goes Kennedy.
There he goes.
And she's like, well, what's that saying? Like, I cried when I had no shoes on until I saw the man who couldn't keep his pants on. And Anthony says, well, Ted Kennedy is the elected senator from Massachusetts. And if people don't like that, they should go to Massachusetts and try to defeat him. And Carlene says, I'm sorry, but putting him in charge of a sexual harassment suit is like asking Dom DeLuise to guard the dessert bar at Shoney's.
No. Yeah.
Which, yeah, obviously. But this isn't about Ted Kennedy right now. This is about Clarence Thomas.
But I guess their point is that they are choosing people who would are not fair to make this decision. Yeah.
Who don't have objectivity. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bernice says, I don't care what you say. I think he's just as cute as he can be. Not that it matters, but really?
Ew.
Okay.
Okay.
people shouldn't be judged on that. But like, really, Bernice?
Wow, that's really terrifying.
That's a thing.
But
right.
That's part of it. If people think that you are cute, then like that really affects. It's so gross. But that affects like whether or not they like you know, that when we had so many men that were held accountable last year for their behavior, and that the cuter, if you will, ones people were more upset by. Like they're like, no, not him, or like they would say really scary things. They were just like, well, I let him get away with whatever. I'm like, ew.
Yep.
But like Weinstein, he's just terribly disgusting.
Right.
So people were like, yeah, he totally did it. Let's all talk about it. And you know,
right.
Oh, jeez.
But if someone is attractive, then why would they need to blah 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 blah?
Oh,
like
so
they did it.
Gross.
Also, like this country historically has had a thing for the Kennedys, and they're always talking about how like handsome they are / were, and like I think it's just because if you look at the barometer is very low for like presidents, senator. I mean, until Barack, like it was real low for like senators and presidents and all this stuff. And so like, you know, I think Bernie's thinking that Ted Kennedy is dreamy is kind of like, you know, when she was younger, like they were supposedly you know, the hot ones, but it was really just compared to other ones.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. That was a tangent.
That was
we
great.
will have many more. And Julia says, I bet you feel the same way about Warren Beatty, who has had his way with every woman in America except the 5 of us.
Yeah.
Burn.
Yeah.
And then Brittany says, speak for yourself, Julia. And
I forgot about that. That's so funny.
This next line. I'll tell you, the person I can't stand is that Bart Simpson.
What? Okay.
And Anthony's like, I think you mean Alan Simpson, which
exactly.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is. Shit, I should have looked it up.
Really made me laugh. But I did know who the next one was. I got the next one.
Okay.
And Bernie says, whatever. You can tell how he loves to say those dirty words. Him and Ora Lee Hatch. I don't know who Ora Lee Hatch is, but she means Orrin Hatch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Anthony says, names just don't mean that much to you, do they, Bernice?
Nope.
None at all. And Bernice says, I'm sorry. I just don't like to hear a man go on and on about the word penis. I mean, same. She says, unless, of course, there's a good plot that goes with it. Bernice likes a good romance novel.
Oh, me.
And Carlene's like, well, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to agree with Allison on this one. Carlene, no. She says, how can you dismiss all these women who worked with Thomas and just thought he was great? What?
That's not the same. What?
Okay. Nope. And she says,
I don't think that's right.
But then she says she guessed she was sexually harassed when she worked at Ray Fladbo's Ozark Furniture. She says that really fast.
Yeah.
And she said he always asked her to test out the beds with him to see how much weight they would hold. Finally, it just got to be where they were laying around the showroom all the time and people started to talk, so she quit.
Oh, wow.
And then Allison's like, well, I just think you all have incredibly vivid imaginations. And Mary Jo's like, have you never been sexually harassed in the workplace, Allison? And my next note in all caps says she would be the only woman in America, probably on Earth.
Yeah.
If her answer is no.
Yeah.
And Allison says, I've never even had a compliment in the workplace.
Well, I knew I was afraid they were going to make like a joke about that because of that. She's always the butt of these kind of jokes, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, uh-oh. Well, all right.
And she's like, I just don't see what the big deal is if the guy sitting next to you says that you have nice legs.
Oh, my
And
gosh.
Julia's like, it's my understanding that Clarence Thomas didn't tell Anita Hill she had nice legs. I think it was more like he had nice legs and a little something extra to go with them.
Yeah.
And Mary Jo says, well, what would you say if Anthony came in here? Don't drag
Don't
Anthony
bring him into it.
That
He's
poor man.
He's just trying to not.
Yeah. And she said, well, what would you say if Anthony came in here all the time bragging about his personal endowment? And Mary Jo, and Anthony's like, Mary Jo, for crying out loud, like, please leave this man alone.
I know.
And Bernice is like, well, I've always wondered if what they say is true.
Oh, my.
And Anthony's like, this is the kind of sexual harassment I put up with every day.
That is sexual harassment.
It is sexual harassment.
It is.
And he says, and yes, Bernice, it is true.
Well, I mean, you might as well make a joke if you're going to have these people being fucking stupid.
And then Rusty, the electrician.
Yay, Rusty!
Whatever. Yeah, handyman.
I enjoy that it was actually the same actor coming back. Fantastic.
Yes, same. He comes in with his butt crack, and while like Julia says, they never harass you, talking about Rusty. And Anthony's like, no, you're just like all y'all all the time talking about your time of the month, and that time Mary Jo had fake breasts trying to make me feel them, and Suzanne always making me wax her legs. They're always making rude and vulgar remarks about Rusty. And Carlene's like, you mean Rusty thinks we sexually harass him? And Anthony said, he probably does, but don't take my word for it. Let's go ask him.
Yeah.
So he goes to get Rusty. Meanwhile, Bernice starts telling her sexual harassment story when she worked at a bank. And she said, my boss it's a really weird story.
Really weird story.
My boss kept wanting me to wear a 2-piece swimsuit to work, even though my job was rolling dimes. And then, so in the meantime, Anthony's grabbed Rusty and brought him back out, and he wants him to tell the ladies how it makes him feel when they make fun of his pants style.
Because to remind the listener, butt crack is hanging out. Lots of butt crack.
All the time.
It was like the subject of an episode. Of an
entire episode. Yeah. And so Rusty's very monotone, just like says it all in one go. He's like, I feel cheap and degraded, like a sex object. And Anthony says, do you consider this harassment? And Rusty says, yes, I do. And then Anthony says, thank you, Rusty. You're very brave. I realize how difficult this must have been for you. Thank you for coming forward. And Rusty's like, no problem. And then he pulls out like 20 from his pocket. And he's like, thanks for the salt to Anthony.
Oh, my gosh.
And Anthony's like, well, I get. He just ignores it. And he's like, I guess we could see all the pain on that man's face. And then Carlene doesn't understand. Here we go with the not reporting it. Carlene says she doesn't understand why Anita Hill didn't report it when it happened if he harassed her. And then Julia has the best response and says, well, it might be a little hard to report a fella for sexual harassment if he was head of the department that was supposed to prevent it.
Yeah.
Even if she'd known someplace to report it, why would she? They're now ridiculing her for not coming forward, and then they're blasting her for coming forward now. I think they taught their lesson to her very well.
Yeah.
And Carlene says, what lesson was that? And Julia says, the lesson that says all men are created equal.
Womp,
and
then we go to like a commercial break right on that, don't we?
I don't remember.
I think it did.
I guess so, because then they come back and they're about to do the vote. Yeah, because they're talking about the vote, and Mary Jo says apparently they haven't seen Long Dong Silver.
Yeah.
They vote. Of course, the nomination is confirmed, and then Julia says, well, I guess that's that. And they cut to their play rehearsal, which is everything. Because they're just pissed off, and they're just giving it all of the ire and like the bitterness that they've got. And so they go through the scene or whatever, and the director yells cut, and then he's like, or whatever he yells, and he says, I want y'all to try it with more warmth this time. And they just like stare him down.
Yeah. With very like curled lips and like just looking crazy as they should.
Yep. They look insane. It's great. And then they cut to the drive to Allison's house, and Mary Jo is telling Julia, she's like, don't worry. I can tone down the performance a little bit. And Julia says, I'm not worried. I bet a lot of women in this country are madder tonight than they've ever been. We're not just talking about Clarence Thomas, but once again about the Good Old Boys Network kicked in, and we were sent packing. Mary Jo is not excited, does not want to go to the slumber party. She says, I need to get rid of some hostility before seeing Allison. And Julia's like, what are you going to do? And Mary Jo's like, I don't know. I may have to eat a Buick. Why don't we keep our costumes on? I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I know.
Like, eat a Buick. And she's like, why don't we keep our costumes on and just like and our makeup on all night and just like stay in character? And Julia's like, why? Mary Jo says, I don't know. It kind of makes me feel like when I had those big old fake breasts. It makes me feel macho. And then Julia says, well, it's only fitting on this day of infamy. We should stay dressed up like two of the toughest talking, big shoulder broads to ever live in this country. And she's like, what do you want to do? Mary Jo says, we could terrorize some men. And Julia says, it wasn't just men who supported Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
And then Mary Jo says, well, what the hell? Let's terrorize everybody. Maybe then we'll eat a Buick. Then we cut to Allison's party. The reporter is there. Journalist is there.
Fred forgotten that this was a thing until it happens again. I'm like, wait, really? What? What?
And she's kind of like directing the set or whatever, and she knows they want to get her opinion on this or whatever, but she wants to make sure that they get a shot of her birthday party and her friends. She wants people to know it's her birthday.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Did you get a hat?" And he's like, "Yeah, we got a hat, like a party hat." And then Mary Jo and Julia come in walking like Bette and Joan. Mary Jo is still smoking.
Yes, yeah.
And they ask like where they've been, and they said, "You knew we had a dress rehearsal," and they're still in character. And then Allison says, I need your underwear for the freezer." And Mary Jo's like, "Get real, Allison, I'm not giving you my underwear." And then Allison's like, "You have to, it's a rule." And then Mary Jo as Baby Jane is like, "Look, dearie, we don't go by the rules, we make them. Why don't you run along and get me some punch?" And that goes double for you. And then she sits in Anthony's lap.
That threw me off. I was like, what is she doing?
What is she doing?
What is she doing?
And then Carlene explains to Allison that she's supposed to wait until they go to sleep and then freeze their underwear.
Yeah, that's the whole point. It's like a sneak attack.
Yeah. And then she's like overly dramatic. She's like, "I can't believe we've got Miss Joan Crawford and Miss Bette Davis in our little bumpkin party." And she asks if she can get Julia something. And Julia says, yes, a big old batch of wooden coat hangers.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. What? Because I know it's that it's no wire hangers from Mommy Dearest, Joan Crawford. But what? Why?
What?
The wooden hanger part? That's a weird joke that doesn't exactly land for me.
It doesn't land. Understand. And also, it doesn't have anything to do with Blanche from Baby Jane. It's just, that's a weird Joan Crawford thing.
Oh my gosh, okay.
So, I don't know. Maybe they were tired in the writer's room. I don't know.
So. Like, wasn't it, so when there's something about hangers, and they're like, yeah, there was.
Yeah,
were they
wire
wooden
coat
ones?
hangers.
Yeah, they were wooden ones. Yeah, we should put wooden. It was a wooden hanger.
Yeah.
Joke done.
So, because she doesn't want the wired ones, she wants the wooden ones.
Yeah. Like,
all right.
Okay, let's take them on a journey with this joke. Okay.
This is a stretch. And so then the journalist is ready, and so Allison starts talking, and she thinks that Ms. Hill lied, and she's like, so, what if he did throw something her way? I think Mrs. Hill is attractive, but the way some of these feminists look, they should just be grateful for any kind of attention they get.
This is so difficult for me. I can't handle it. And also, Allison's voice is like cracking most of this episode.
Yeah.
I know. So I was like, whoa, she's real raspy. So I found that interesting.
And she says, and it's like, she's turned it into this like team thing. Like, it's not football. I don't understand. No. She's like, I'm sorry, but we won, and if you don't like it, you can just go have yourselves a big old brazier bonfire. And in conclusion, na 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 na. She like opens her sweater and is like, moving around with her little. I have a gif of it. Good. Her little she lied shirt or whatever.
Yeah. Mary
Jo comes up, smacks her with a pillow.
Yeah, like
and
says, knocks her off of the little like ottoman.
Knocks her off of the ottoman.
On. Yeah.
She's like, your time is up. And that reminded me so much of the whole like time's up movement or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a gif of that too that you can find in the show notes. And then Mary Jo, still dressed as Baby Jane, looks at the camera and says, with a crazed look in her eye, all we want is to be treated with equality and respect. Is that asking too much? Sorry, I don't mean to be strident and overbearing. It just doesn't, that doesn't cut it anymore. Like, a lot of women are out here tonight. I'm mad. I'm mad because we're 51% of the population and only 2% of the U.S. Senate. I'm mad because 406 men in the House of Representatives have a pool, a sun, and a gym, and we have 6 hair dryers and a ping pong table. I don't get that, but okay, go Mary Jo.
Yeah, I know. It must be what they really quoted. As someone's saying that there was since there's so few women that they have that.
Yeah. And she says, I'm mad because in a Seminole, Oklahoma police station, there's a poster of a naked woman that says women make bad cops. I'm mad that despite the fact that we scrub America's floors, wash all the dishes, have the babies, and commit very little of the crime, still we only make 58 cents on the dollar. I don't know about the rest of the women out there, but I don't give a damn anymore if people think I'm a feminist or a fruitcake. What I'm going to do is get in my car and drive to the centermost point of the U.S. and climb the tallest tower and yell, hey, don't get me wrong. We love you, but who the hell do you men think you are? And then the director of the segment immediately is like, cut and print. Done.
Yeah, which is so funny that he just kind of let her go.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Just off the rails.
Here's my problem.
Okay, go for it.
I love everything that I'm a little bit on the soapbox because, of course, I love everything that she says. Yes. And I think she could only say it because she's in makeup and costume.
Yes.
But to me, it undermines what she's saying.
Why? Explain to us.
Did you say why?
Yes.
Because I felt like it would have been stronger if just Mary Jo said it. If it wasn't that Mary Jo had to have a makeup and theatrics and have a crazy expression, because that is going to make it so people could be like, that's just a crazy woman talking.
Yes.
So that's my point.
But
that's
do you think they would have let her do it in the first place if she weren't?
No, I guess that's the whole point, is that it was that she needed it as to get to even have the platform to say something.
Right.
Well, I don't know if she just knocked Allison off.
I mean, if she came up and just hit her with
a
a pillow and started talking, maybe they would keep filming.
They may have still done it. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. It does undermine.
Yeah, because then they're going to be like, look at this crazy lady saying all these things. And it's like, but so that's one thing I don't like, is when things that are important. I love making a joke out of everything or whatever and having things be fun. But things that are important, I think, need to be done in a straight manner.
Yes.
If you're going to have anyone listen to you.
Right.
So that's one thing that I'm like, about.
Yeah. I think too that sitcoms today are way better at it than any sitcom of like this time period. Like they've kind of learned how to kind of sneak more important things in without having to mask them with some sort of like ridiculous type comedy or whatever.
It may have been also that they had already been doing it all episode, that they needed the big one to be kind of a little bit lighter because they were like hammering it over the head. I mean, Anthony's speech, a little tiny speech, I think was actually very, very strong.
That was, yes.
I thought that was great. And
that was great.
And even Mary Jo's kind of sarcastic, like, oh yeah, she, like, they paid her to do this or something like that. That speech was so much better. And
right, because it was sarcasm, not
it was
just,
it was sarcasm.
Ridiculous.
It wasn't but it was still sticking to it. And so her just pulling crazy faces with it just makes it go like, okay, I'm not going to listen to what you're saying a little bit. So whatever. But again, it was 1991. And this is still a problem now. And like you said,
still a problem.
People will make these speeches in sitcoms now, and it'll be fine. And they weren't ready for it then. Clearly they weren't, because this was even happening. So, yes, that's a little bit my thing. That even though I love it, I'm like,
it does undermine it
a bit. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So then the cut print. There you go.
Yep. Cut print. Then we cut to later at Allison's. Everyone is slow dancing. And and Allison says, well, this is the best slumber party anybody's ever had, even though Mary Jo and Julia tried to ruin it. Anthony is dancing with Bernice, Carlene is dancing with Allison, and Mary Jo and Julia are sitting on the couch still in costume. And Anthony tells Bernice this is his last dance. He has to go to bed. He's really tired. And Bernice says, Anthony, please don't leave me. Those women are crazy.
Well.
And we cut to the couch, and Allison says, just as soon as Joan and Bette fall asleep, those wigs are going in the freezer. Again, missing the point. And Mary Jo says, I guess I blew it. Mary Jo Shively goes berserk. Film at 11. And Julia says, personally, I kind of liked it. And Mary Jo says, you would.
Yeah, it was a Terminator type speech.
It was a Terminator moment, yeah.
Yeah.
And Mary Jo says, Joan, they're playing our song. Shall we dance? And Julia says, I thought you never ask. Then Mary Jo says, who should lead? And Julia says, in Joan's voice, well, Bette, considering who we are, I think we both should. And then they dance, and then it cuts to all, like, the senator's bullshit and, like, you know, the confirmed hearings. And just, like, senator after senator after senator with these same white men opinions that no one wants to hear.
Even the guy who's kind of like the psychiatrist or whatever, that's like, oh, there's this thing about, like, you know, authority figures. And I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, because that's the thing, too, is, like, I guess, you know, they didn't have the 24-hour news cycle like we do, but you can always always find an expert in something who will tell you exactly what you want to hear. Yeah. Whether you want them to say heads or tails, you can find one.
Yeah.
And then like the last of it is kind of like the final like gut punch, because it is Bush speaking at Thomas's like swearing in ceremony.
Gross.
And the very end of it is like him saying all men are created equal, and then there's just a still shot of Anita Hill at the end.
Yeah.
And so they end it on a very like somber note, but then the credits are them dancing and Leslie Gore's "It's My Party" playing.
I hated that. I was like, all right, I'm done with this episode.
I love that song. I love Leslie Gore. Not the time and place.
I know, but it was like, oof. Can we, oof.
We ended on this like very somber note, and we don't even have time to take it in before it's like,
yeah, we can't. It was 1991. We can't.
Yep. It was
1991
or 2. Yep.
Oh, it was 1992? Shit.
I don't know if it was 91 or 92. I don't know. Whenever the air date was, then I check. Wait, it's in our script.
It is in our script.
91. November.
November 4th, 1991. Already read that. Easily forgotten, Erin. I think that... question, not thinking. Ponder, a query, if you will.
A query, if you will.
A query. I don't think that was exactly the point, but I am intrigued by the whatever happened to Baby Jane part of this. And now that is within kind of psychological drama and that type of stuff, but it also had to do with like the plot. I'm making connection of the Anita Hill storyline with the Baby Jane storyline, where it's all about like manipulation and trying to undermine someone and say like they're crazy, you know, and like that. And I don't know if people know the storyline of it in order to make that connection, but I figured that's on purpose, right? Even though it's not really, I don't, maybe I'm reading into it though, because I don't feel that was really explicit in the episode, but I feel like that might have been. You can
definitely see it.
Yeah, I think that might have been like some of the thinking behind it, which if it is, that actually should have been a little bit more highlighted because it's very, very intelligent.
Yeah, because we only see them do the one scene, and if you don't have any context, you don't really know what it's about.
And you're just like, why is Mary Jo wearing this makeup, and why are they pulling his faces?
Makeup.
It's like, exactly. Like, what is going on? But I think that's probably part of why those connections, not just to have them be Bette Davis, Joan Crawford, but because of this, like, because of the manipulation and like one person trying to make someone else feel crazy. And that it's like two people who should be like on the same team even.
Yes.
But
like
they aren't.
pitted against each other.
Yeah. And that, so if you guys have not seen whatever happened to Baby Jane, Joan Crawford, Bette Davis, definitely do it. Another shout out would be, we'll put these in the notes. I already took notes about it, to check out the Feud season, where the series that is with Susan Sarandon and Jessica, what is her name?
Jessica Lange.
Jessica Lange. I was like, Langford, I don't know. I love her so much. Well, horrible.
Yes.
Jessica Lange, and they are absolutely incredible in those roles. And that's, I think this is one reason, because I've seen that show, why I'm kind of making that connection, because they had to deal with the boys club in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And that they
to make
were
this
also,
movie about two old ladies, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But like always, and they had to do it for this, and that they were made to be put at odds of each other, just to me, the same way that like in this episode you see Allison and Mary Jo kind of at odds with each other, when really again, that's okay, here on the soapbox, that's the patriarchy again.
Yes,
that we are taught to fight against each other, that that we can't work together in order for neither of us to win. And guess what? Neither of them won. You know, like Allison's side is that men are horrible, and that women are going to let them be horrible. And then Mary Jo's side is just trying to hold people accountable and not be considered, like not have a defamation of character just because you're trying to stand up for yourself. You know, regardless of whether he did it or not, all they did was attacked her, you know? So nobody wins in this except for the dude who was sworn in.
Yep.
Okay, so there we go. I'm done. Everyone's going to hate us now. But
no, I liked it.
But like
Sonny liked it.
Oh, Sonny, my love. Yeah, so that's really what this episode's like doing. And hey, it's not just us talking about this. It's what the episode wants to talk about. Everyone's talking about it. There have been so many things.
We're still talking about it.
We're still talking about it.
Different name. Still talking about it.
But there have been so many, but not just like that. I mean, there's the mirroring of that particular situation, but there have been a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's definitely not the first time it's happened since it happened, or the last time that it will happen since it's happened.
Yeah, really, really intense. Do you have a favorite outfit?
I'd just either Mary Jo or Julia as Bette and Joan. Pick one. They're both excellent.
That's okay. That's great. Yeah.
How about you?
I like that. I just liked I like the he did it, she lied. How stupid these shirts are. But, you know, like, because like Allison's
is a turtleneck.
Allison's is a goddamn turtleneck. Like, they do not sell, like, they don't sell like, novelty turtlenecks. Monogrammed novelty turtlenecks, nor do they really sell. I mean, what Mary Jo's wearing is kind of a sweatshirt.
Yes.
Like,
neither of these are just like t-shirts.
No. They were not selling either of those at the mall. Maybe they were selling supplies for them, but not either of the actual things. And so I took a screenshot that's both of them. Because it's crazy. So good on us to have kind of mirroring best outfits for this.
Yeah.
My goodness. I guess is that it? We've lost all of our listeners. They are done with us.
Our legs are tired from standing on the soapbox for so long.
I am. Let me sit down. Leslie, where can people find us in case they want to keep listening again?
If there's anyone left, check us out on the internet if you're still listening. We are The Girls Who Came to Sugar Bakers on iTunes and the Podbean site. We are Sugar Baker Girls pretty much everywhere else, including Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, Pinterest. If you like us, please take a moment to rate and review us on iTunes or wherever you are hearing this podcast right now. It does help us reach more people. And don't forget, next week you can watch it on Hulu.
Yeah.
Full series.
Yeah, here we go. All of them.
Watch this crazy episode and all the others.
This crazy episode on Hulu. You can catch up with us. We've got 5 and this many episodes. And
this many
seasons of backlog that you can catch up on. You can watch. Have at it, have fun, talk to us on the Twitters and the Instagrams and the everything. Love it.
Yep.
Love it. Thank you all. Thank you. Genuinely. I never take for granted anyone that's listening to us or talks to us at all.
We appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much. That's our episode, huh?
That's it. We'll talk to you next time.
It'll probably be much lighter.
Probably. Let's hope. Yeah. Let's follow it with something light.
Yeah. Ready?
Bye.
We're gonna say bye.
Oops, sorry. I thought that's what you were like inhaling for, and then nope. I'm sorry.
I was, but then I was like, I'm not gonna start. I'm not gonna hold the note by myself. Okay. Bye.
Just need to know our friendship won't end.
I project an image of working in Ross, Target, TJ Maxx, Joann's. What else? All those places in Cary. That's the image that I project when I'm in public. I work here.
Oh. Because I was like, wait, how do you project that image? Oh, no, really?
I don't know.
Work there. It's because you're the only person below 80. Well, externally. That's what it is. That you look like you're not 80, but then they recognize the kindred spirit of an old person within you. And so they're like, she can help me.
She can help me.